Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 9 of Let's Talk About, a podcast that brings a platform to real talk, real people, real conversations, real topics. Today, my guest today talks about something that happens to a lot of women. Uterine cancer. She's gonna talk about her uterine cancer experience that she just went through. This is actually over 200,000 cases per year in the United States. A lot of women go through this. She's also going to talk about being a single mom today in the dating world. That's a little bit later on. This is my friend, my buddy, Laura Mccleod. Laura, how are you?
Hey,
What's
how
going
are
on?
you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So,
Good.
how was it out there in Colorado right now?
It's actually sunny today. It
What?
snowed yesterday and now it's sunny today.
First of all, it snows out there.
You know how Colorado do.
That's the reason why I left that bitch. But
Hey.
listen, you have a unique story about what you went through with your uterine cancer. But before that, I want you to tell who Laura is. Tell us something a little about you.
I'm Laura. I have 2 amazing teenage daughters who keep me on my toes 24/7.
What's up?
And I just like to get out, have good fun, have a good time, try and make positive impact in people's lives whenever I can, and just enjoy life. That's what it's about. As you get older, you realize that that's what it's about.
Yes, trust me. And God knows I know about getting older. I'm way older than you.
Oh, I know.
Oh, now see, I should edit that part out right there, right? But anyway. Lord, how about this, right? All right. How did you find out you even had uterine cancer from the very beginning?
Man, I was sick for about 3 months and
Okay.
I couldn't put my finger on what was wrong. I was having abnormal bleeding in between my monthly cycles. I was just uncomfortable in my abdomen area.
Okay.
But the kicker was I was sleeping about 18 hours a day.
What?
Like that's not normal. I
Hold
would
on.
go to bed at
18
8 o'clock.
hours a day you were sleeping?
And I was exhausted. I could not wake up. So I would go to bed at 8 o'clock, barely get up to take my daughter to school, come back, go straight back to bed, and then barely get up to pick her up. And it was just a cycle.
Wow.
So I'm like, something is not right here. So I went to my regular doctor and she's like, maybe you're anemic because of everything that's going on and since you're losing a little extra blood. But since it's only been happening for a month or 2, we're not too worried about it. Okay. Most uterine cancer, you're over 60 if you get uterine cancer. I'm only 47. So she thought maybe it's fibroids. Maybe there's endometriosis. Maybe there's something else going on that's very fixable. Let's go for an ultrasound.
Okay.
So my friend took me for my ultrasound and they found out that my uterine lining was 22 millimeters. It's supposed to be under 5, and 22 is my uterus lining was bigger than if you were 9 months pregnant.
What?
Yeah. So that I was just uncomfortable. Like my uterus was so extended. And still at that point, they were like, no, we still don't think it is. Let's go for a biopsy. And I'm like, okay. So I went to the gynecologist and she said, I feel like it's something with endometriosis. We can put I think it's an IUD in you, and that can control the bleeding. Okay. So we did the ultrasound or not the ultrasound, I'm sorry, the biopsy, and it came back precancerous. So I'm like, okay, let's just get it out and we're good. And then she goes, well, since we're only taking such a little bit of tissue and that had precancerous cells, I want to go and do a whole DNC, which scrapes the whole lining of your uterus to see what's in there, plus put a
Okay.
camera up there and actually look and see what's in there.
Okay. Wow. All right. So
Yeah.
when you found this information out, right? What was going through your mind when you initially heard that this was your prognosis, your diagnosis?
I think at first I was just kind of numb, like, that's not right. I'm only 47. I don't have uterine cancer. Like, I don't have uterine cancer. They're crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it was like a denial thing. But then when you actually got the actual call from the doctor, and she's after the DNC, and she's like, Laura, I'm so sorry to tell you, but you have cancer. It's officially cancer. And your whole world completely stops in that moment. And all I could think about was, I have to get my youngest through high school. Just let me get my youngest through high school. That's all I need.
Oh, wow. So when she told you, like, what's the exact definition of uterine cancer?
I had endometrial hyperplasia atypical, which that means that it was a little bit more advanced. So mine was in my uterine lining. Mine, thank you, Jesus, was only grade A, stage 1. That means it hadn't gone halfway through my uterine lining. If it had gone through my uterine lining a little bit farther to stage 2, I believe, or 1AB, 1B. Mine was 1A. If it would have been 1B, I would have had to have further treatment. So because I caught it so early, which this is so important for women and really for anybody, if you feel like something's off with your body, go get it checked. Go get it checked. If it would have stayed in there any more longer, it would have turned even more serious. They were able to take it out. They got everything. They had to take my ovaries. But with them doing that, it pushed me straight into surgical menopause.
Would you plan on even having more kids?
Day, no.
Okay, all right. That's I'm just wondering. That's all. We said
we're good on that.
Okay.
Menopause in itself is like a gradual thing that leads your body up to it. With mine, it was like I had all this estrogen in my body one day and nothing the next day. Wow. So my body went insane for like a couple weeks. I still suffer with it. I still have problems with some issues, but I had no idea the effects that people go through with menopause. So it's just kind of this whole transition of cancer, menopause, and in that time, 2 weeks after my menopause or after my surgery, I got a terrible infection in my abdomen. So I was in the hospital for a week, 2 weeks after my surgery.
Wow. So all right. So let's back up here for a second here. So when you found out, right, you got in your head, you're taking this in, right? When you came home and you sat down with your 2 girls, like how did that go?
I said, I have to tell you, the doctor called today. And I had told them that the doctor said that they wouldn't call me if it was good news. Okay. So I told them, I said, the doctor called today. And they said, what? Mom? And I'm like, we caught it very early. I'm going to have surgery. And then after surgery, they'll look at it all, see if it's, gone anywhere else and decide on treatment. But they're hoping that I'm not going to need any treatment. And they were scared in their own way. They were devastated. I did end up calling their dad to let him know, just so that if they were out there and wanted to talk about it, that they would feel comfortable talking to anybody about it, just to get their emotions out and what they were thinking on it.
Okay. So now your whole mental aspect of it, how was it like mentally after you told the kids? Because I know you had to go to prepare for this, you had to go take steps for before the surgery, right? But let's start off with your mental. Like, how was you in your head at that time?
Mentally, man, it was tough. And I'm a strong ass woman.
Yeah, you are.
And
Yeah.
it took me out. It took me out. And even I think 3 months out from surgery, and there's still days I don't want to do anything. My house has become my comfort zone, and I know that's not good either, but it really puts a perspective on things that you never think about and what's important to you.
Okay.
And to hear people say, oh my gosh, they got it out, you're fine, that's great. And it's like, well, it is great, and I did get it out, but I still have all these other effects and stuff that I'm dealing with that aren't brought to the table on a daily basis. They just see, oh, cancer's gone, perfect, but you're dealing with so much other stuff. And I have an amazing doctor, and I've talked to him several times, and he is he wants your whole body to be well. So he always checks in on my mental, and we talk about that. But it's devastating and it's difficult. You have friends and you have people that check in on you, but you're doing it by yourself. You don't have a partner. You don't have somebody in the house. You're doing it and still have to make sure your daughter gets to where she needs to go, and your other daughter's okay, and that their mental's okay. And so it's tough. It's tough.
That's very, very tough right there. So, like, is it like certain steps you had to do to prepare for the surgery, or it's like counseling, or what you had to do to prepare?
No, the surgery in itself, I was in quite a bit of pain, so I was ready to get that surgery over with. I was like, let's just get it out, and I was positive that we were going to be on a better road. It was when I got my infection that I felt so defeated, and so like they had to put a drain inside of me. I was on 24-hour antibiotics for 3 days. They said that they were trying to keep me out of the ICU. That really.
So this infection happened after the surgery, right?
Due to the surgery, yes.
Due to the surgery, it happened right away.
2 weeks after.
And so it's like a sharp pain and stuff like that. So you went back to the doctor. It's like something's not right.
I was feeling so good, and I was like, oh man, okay, 2 weeks out. I thought I was going to get back to work at 3 weeks. I'm like, yes, I did it. No, I got the chills. I could barely stand up. My fever was 103. I'm like, what is going on? I was just in pain. I couldn't stand up with it without feeling like something was just going to drop out of me. So I went to the ER, and then they said, oh my gosh, you actually have an abdominal E. coli infection from abdomen surgery. It's an effective abdomen surgery.
You say abdominal what? What is it called again?
It was an E. coli infection.
E. coli infection. So it was infection from your abdominals got infected after surgery is over. All right. Mm-hmm. Wow, that is. Woo. All right. So you went back. You got drained. You said that?
Yep.
All right. So it's after you got drained. Like, was you in the hospital for a longer period of time? You said a week, right?
I was in the hospital for a week at that point, which the surgery I was in for 2 days. So I'm sitting in the hospital, and I'm calling everybody like, I got to get my daughter to point A to point B. Can I'm trying to figure out her.
Yeah.
And doctors are like, finally on the 5th day, I was feeling better. And they were like, you were very, very close to going to the ICU. Like you.
So at that time, your family helped you out. Everybody came together to help you out. So that's what. So you had a very good support system.
Oh, absolutely. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. I'm like, who's staying with Sky tonight? Like, even when I went to the hospital, my best friend, when I had surgery, he went up and made sure the kids were eating. Like, I just want to make sure they're fed while I'm in surgery. If it takes longer, somebody be with them in case it's bad news or something. So very good support system.
So after you was in the hospital for a week, so what? So when you came home, what happened next?
So I got out of the hospital at 12, and by 3 o'clock, I was in the pickup line picking up my daughter from school. You're a single mom. You got to do what you got to do.
Facts.
So I
Facts.
got her, and it's just since then it's been a very slow healing process. I feel like I've healed internally all my scars through the cancer and everything, but mentally it's been a challenge every single day. I lost my job because of it. I mean,
Really?
yeah, they told me I missed too many days of work.
You couldn't like apply for disability or something like that, or like
Mhm.
what's it? Not FMLA. I forgot what it's something. I forgot what's called out there.
I did have FMLA, but you don't get paid for that. It
Yeah, I know
just
that one. Yeah,
your job.
but your
But
job lets you go because you missed too many days.
they
You have
gave
health
me
scare.
on the day that I got, I was actually at work when I got the call from the doctor that I actually had cancer. And they had known everything. I didn't keep anything from them.
Yeah.
And they told me they would work with me and everything. So I went in to go tell my boss. I said, the doctor just called. And I can't even make this up. She handed me a write up and she goes, well, I need you to sign this write up for missing too many days. And I think that fucked me up as well.
Yeah, that'll fuck up anybody.
Just the pure unsympathetic, I don't know. Yeah.
So you came home and your job lets you go because you was out of work for days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's been how long now since you had the surgery?
My surgery was the mid-November.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 weeks later you went back in. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So how was it going now?
I'm sorry, one more time.
How are you feeling now? Like
Oh,
no side effects, no nothing
I
like that.
feel really good. From surgery wise, I still struggle with energy. I get extremely tired very quickly,
Okay.
and I do still have my days where I think it's anxiety. I just don't want to leave. I don't want to leave
Really?
my apartment
How come?
because it's my safe place.
Gotcha.
And I used to be out all the time. Like I
Mm-hmm.
used to be going and doing stuff
Yep.
any chance I could get. So that's been difficult for me. My friends are like, "We really miss you. We want you to come out." I'm like, I literally have no desire to.
Have you seen
So
like a doctor or something like that? Like in like mental
I
person?
haven't yet, but I have been thinking about getting some therapy for it.
Oh,
I
girl.
haven't yet. And I have been going back and forth in my mind, but I'm like, I can figure it out. But then I'm like, I can't figure this out. This is too much.
Do
And
you
I
ever,
need to be better for my kids as well. You know, they've always seen me attack everything with strength and grace, and I don't want them to see me. This isn't going to be the thing that breaks me.
yes. Now, you this is a big deal. Like I said earlier, it's over 200,000 cases like this per year, and that's just here in the United States. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know about the world. I mean, like this is a big thing for me. Like you did say it earlier, right? You told women to like, get stuff checked out. Like, I want you like to really talk about that again and give a message to women out there. 'Cause I know some women go watch this and how
Yeah.
important it is to maintain and get checked out for this. Because this is a very serious thing. This could have went left on you. You know what
Oh, for
I
sure.
mean, to where because right now, like, okay, yeah, unfortunately you lost your job. Now you're going through anxiety and stuff like that. Let's give a strong message to women who are watching this right now about uterine cancer.
Yes, women, you are loved, you are needed in this world, and there's things we can do to prevent certain things from happening. If anything seems off, go get it checked. It's just I hate going to the doctor. I hate going to the doctor, but I knew that something was wrong. And even when they said, I don't think it's cancer, I knew in my gut. that something really serious was wrong, especially after I had the ultrasound. Get checked. It takes one doctor's visit, and if it's nothing, it's better for your peace of mind. And if it's something, we can get you on the right track of getting better. But if you wait, some people wait, and it can actually metastasize to your lungs. That's the first place it's going to go. It's going to go to the organs around your uterus, your ovaries, and your cervix, but it can also go up to your lungs as well. I had to have a chest x-ray to make sure it hadn't gone up there. Get checked. It's so, so important. If I wouldn't have gotten checked and it would have gone on, I would have been through radiation. I would have been through chemo. I think that I don't feel good now. I would not have been feeling good for a very
You know, and I want to tell everybody, I'm gonna look at this camera here. Like, I know this lady. She is one of the strongest people I know. Funny as hell, and she already know how funny she is. Very comical. I mean, listen to her. She's very knowledgeable. She's very serious about the subject. This, like I said before, it's over 200,000 cases per year, and that's just here in the United States. Listen to this.
Laura, I was reading some stories. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I was reading some stories, and some people weren't getting checked because they thought they were just going into premenopause. So they're like, well, my cycles are a little bit off because I'm going into premenopause. And that could be the case, but it's not always the case. So if you have other symptoms along with it, like being so tired, no motivation, pain, you shouldn't be having pain, go get it checked, please. Your family, your friends, your kids, they need you.
Now wait, now you say your doctor says it usually happens in women in their 60s, right? So
people that have already gone through menopause.
You're already going through it. Like, what did he say something like, what's the percentage of women in their 40s getting it, or even 30s getting it?
It's a very small percentage. I don't know the exact percentage, but it is a very small percentage. And when I went to my oncologist, it was an oncologist, gynecologist. I was for sure the youngest one in there. For sure. Yeah.
Definitely get checked, everybody. I mean, this is just, I remember right when you was posting, when you was posting about this.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? What's going on here? I mean, and then now you're telling me this at 60, you're supposed to be in your 60s past menopause, and you ain't hit it yet? I mean, oh my God. I'm glad you told us this. And please, ladies, go out there and get it checked.
Absolutely.
Any symptoms out there, please. That's what the podcast is about. Give a platform for people to talk, real topics, real conversation. Please do this. Laura, I'm going to switch gears a little bit with you. About a subject that you probably might want to give your opinion on. You're a brutally honest person. You really
I am.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I know.
And people don't like honest.
No, trust me, I know about that. As a single woman today, single mom, single mother, people talk about dating today in today's world. In your opinion, like, what is like for dating for you, and what do you see out there in dating with women today? Like, this is your opinion on. You're not speaking for everybody else. I want you to give your opinion about single women in dating today. You can be honest. You can talk trash about this man and go ahead. I know you would get the. Go ahead.
For me personally, it's very, very difficult because I've been single for so long. I can live life by myself. So I feel like some of my expectations are a little bit higher.
Okay.
And people don't want to communicate. Why can't I get a phone call every day? That's not asking you for the world. That's asking you for communication. That's what you do in a relationship. But so many people don't want, in my opinion, and the guys that I have run across, they don't want a relationship. They want a situationship.
Oh, say it again. Say that again.
Situationship.
There you go.
Somebody that they can just come in when it's convenient for them. hang out for a little while and leave and have no commitment. And I don't want that. I'm past that. I'm too old for that. I need an actual relationship. So if you know of anybody.
Situationships are, to me, are the benefits of all the relationships, but not giving it a title.
Yes.
Like all your doors are open. You still have those doors open, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, now let me ask you a question. When you say situationship, right? Now, did you also have your doors open if you were seeing a guy? Like, would you look? No. They just did to you.
If I'm in it and I'm really looking to make something happen, then no, I only focus on you. Now, if I know where your head is and that you're only looking for a situationship, then yeah, my door might peek open a little bit.
Oh my goodness. Being single today, especially out there in Colorado, because I've been out there in Colorado. I mean, it's a mess out there. But
and I need to tell you a story about you.
Oh, you gonna tell me a story about me? Oh,
I need to tell you a story about you.
Oh boy,
that helped me in the dating.
Oh really? This is extra, guys. This is extra content here. I got to hear about this. Come on.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever told you this.
Oh boy.
We've kicked it a couple times.
This is gonna be cool. Go ahead. I want to hear this.
This is gonna be good.
All right.
So I am a very I'm very fun, but I'm also very independent and I can do things on my own. Right. I never want to be an inconvenience to somebody. Like that's my biggest fear. I don't want somebody to do something for me just because they feel like they have to. I don't want to be an inconvenience.
Yeah.
So one night after we left for dinner, of course, my gas tank was on empty, which is no surprise to anybody. But you were like, let me follow you to the gas station, make sure you're good.
That was the first time we met. I remember. Oh, I got you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And then you were like, give me a card. You stay in the car. I'll fill your tank up for you. Mm-hmm. I was so offended. Like, he doesn't think that I know how to fill up my own tank. Like, I can do it myself. And so if you remember, I was a little hesitant and I probably made a little snappy comment.
Oh,
and
well,
I was like, whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
So I got, we left and whatever. And I was talking to some of my friends a couple days later and they were like, Laura, just because you've dated shitty men in the past doesn't mean that everybody's out to get you. Some people genuinely are nice people that just want to make sure you're okay. He just filled your tank. He knows you know how to put gas in your tank. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you for putting gas in my tank.
Oh, and thank you for telling me that I should never did it. That was great. I appreciate it. I mean, like, that's something. If I can remember, I think you was.
I need to let my walls down a little bit, even with friends.
Yeah.
To let them,
letting your walls down. So that's the next question. You know what? Now you said that. Is it easy to let your walls down when you're dating?
No. I'm very stubborn. I'm very difficult to date. I know this. Oh. So because I have that energy of the independent energy that I can do everything. So to actually find somebody that wants to break through that and be like, you don't always have to be on the top of your game. Like if something doesn't work out, I got you. I've never had that. So I'm constantly in hurry up mode and figure out the solution. So when somebody comes in, then I'm like, you don't think I can do it? I can do it. I've been doing this my whole life.
Well, Laura, you do know, right, that every guy you meet, he has not hurt you before. Everybody needs a chance. It's not the same guy that hurt you, right? Not every guy you're going to meet, he's never hurt you before. You never met him. You never met that guy.
Remember? But as soon as I see a characteristic, I'm like, I'm out.
I got you. All right.
Because I don't want to do it again.
So you're saying any little thing he does is like a red flag that triggers.
But I'm trying to be better. And I'm trying to, I have a lot of male friends that are like, Laura, we love you to death and we would never date you. So I'm like, okay, show me what teach me what I'm doing. And they're like, you just need to be in the moment and connect with that person and let them open you up a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the right.
So after all your now being single. Oh, I got you. So being single right now, like, what have you learned from the past to now? Like, if you can go back, like you've been single, you said how long now?
A long time.
Okay, a long time. Okay, we ain't gonna say how many years, like 20, 30
At
years.
least 6 years.
Okay, so you've been single for 6 years, right?
Yeah.
You already been through situationships. You know what you want, this and that, right? What have you learned in these last 6 years to now? That's good. We are
thing that I've learned is not to entertain people that you know you're not going to want something long term with.
Okay.
Because that's where you get, like, at first when you get online and they're dating or whatever, you're like, I just want to date. You'll date anybody. And then it's like, no, you need to put your standards in place before you even go on that date. If you don't see something with them, you don't need to go with them. And letting them speak and letting me communication, listening to each other, that's all a big part, I guess. I don't know. I'm still single, so.
Okay, so last question here about being single today. What do you think people can do to change all this? Like, I mean, what do you think? Like, it's all on the guys, it's all on the girls, or it should be some type of communication here? Like, what's your overall? Everything we talked about. What's your overall view that can go on here?
I think everybody has an exact picture of what they want. So this person has what they want. This person has what they want. You're not going to get everything you want from one person. So you're going to have to compromise at some point and see if it's worth compromising for that person. Ask them, what's the most important things that you need in a relationship? Can you give that to them? Okay, then let's talk about it.
Don't be stealing my phrase now. Don't be stealing my phrase. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Don't be doing all that.
Let's talk about it.
Laura, you have covered some interesting topics here. I mean, especially with the uterine cancer. Your opinion about dating, which, I mean, it's your honest opinion, and I love your honest opinion. Now, I'm going to before we go wrap all this up, I want to get to my little favorite game I have.
Ooh, a game.
Yes, pick or choose random questions. Okay.
Now, do I win anything?
No, you don't win anything, sorry. Bragging rights. There you go.
All right, let's go.
So you got to answer pick or choose 15 questions in 90 seconds.
Ooh, you're asking me questions and I'm just
answering. Yep. You're gonna pick it. So it can't out. It's like you on the clock now. So you got it's gonna be a little rough. You ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
You sure? All right, and you ready? Let's go. Vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream?
Chocolate.
Carnival cruise or private yacht?
Ooh, private yacht. Okay.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Ooh, I hated school. I didn't like school. My friends.
Okay. Dress or skirt?
Oh, dress.
Okay. One-on-one meetings or group meetings?
One-on-one.
Online courses or in-person courses?
Online.
Dating night out or date night in?
Ooh, out.
Okay. Favorite childhood toy?
Ooh, strawberry shortcake.
Living in a moment or planning for the future?
Living in the moment.
Heels or flats?
Ooh, depends on where I'm going, but usually heels.
High stress, high reward job or steady, low pressure job?
Now that's changed. Steady job.
Childhood or adulthood?
Oh, I'm going to say adulthood because my kids.
Okay. Christmas bonus or extra PTO?
Ooh, Christmas bonus.
Office romance or office drama?
Romance.
Group chats or DMs?
DMs.
127, young lady. 127. Uh-oh. Look at you. Look at you. I love it. I do love it.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Laura, but before we go, I want to tell you that I appreciate you coming on here. I'm trying to build this podcast up, bring different topics, different people. I'm just new with this like everybody else. Well, not everybody else. I'm just new with it. I'm trying to bring up, information that somebody can like topics that people want to talk about, stories and out there, because you never know. Your story can affect someone and help them out. I've had a story that, when my daughter passed, I told my story. It helped them out for my first podcast. Like, I did a podcast about alcoholism. She heard it. She gave up on her friend, and she saw the podcast, so she checked on her friend. And
Oh,
it's a good thing she did, because when she walked in the house, she was passed out.
oh my gosh.
So I'm not saying maybe because of podcast or not, but if she didn't get there, she wouldn't be here today. And you never know, your story might affect other people and help them, especially what you went through. Because this happens to a lot of women,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of women, and you went and you got checked. Because you know how it is when people get sick, like, I'm not going to the doctor. I'm not doing all this stuff. But you did it. And guess what? You're here. You're here for your girls. I mean, right? You're dating it up in Colorado. So,
Hey.
I mean, right. But I am so happy you came on today, and I'm glad you gave your opinion about everything. One last thing I do want to ask you is, I know you're going through it right now, like, but mental health is big in this country, right? It's very, very big. And I know you're going through it now. I know you're going through anxiety. Now, I want you to get checked out. Give a message to these people out here, especially women, about mental health right now, if you don't mind.
Mental health is so important, and everybody's going through something. We're not all going through the same thing, but what I'm going through is intense to me, but what you're going through is intense to you. It doesn't negate what we're going through. Even though we're going through different things, we're both going through something heavy. Everybody is. Keep your mental health in check. You have to be well completely as a person in order to be there for your family, in order to be there for your kids, for your friends, anybody. And it's not a shameful thing to do. You should be proud of yourself to go and get help and make yourself better. You're going to feel better. You're going to know how to navigate through things a little bit differently. And life is tough right now. The world is tough right now, and we all need a little help. Don't be ashamed. Go get help. Go get help.
You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Mental health is very key, men and women. And I would like to say, especially for the men, because a lot of men do not talk about their mental health.
Yes.
Please. I
Yes.
know y'all was brought up to be brave and strong and all this shit, but talk to somebody. It's okay. It's okay to let it out. Women do it all the time. They let their emotions out. Us men, we can do the same thing. We're not weak from it.
Absolutely.
Laura, I appreciate your time for coming on here, looking beautiful as ever.
I adore you. You are fucking amazing. And I'm so freaking proud of you for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in for Let's Talk About This, episode 9. Stay tuned for episode 10. Peace.